Something is happening inside the British royal family that almost no one saw coming. A subtle shift, a glimmer of old-world glamour, and a surprising resurgence of attention around the most understated yet most indispensable member of the monarchy. While the world has been obsessing over scandals, exiles, controversies, and shifting power dynamics, one royal has quietly stepped forward and captured the spotlight in a way that feels both deliberate and deeply symbolic. Because in just 2 days, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, the monarchy's hardest-working and least dramatic figure, has worn 2 different tiaras at back-to-back state events. And while some might assume jewelry is trivial, those who truly understand the inner language of monarchy know that tiaras are never just diamonds. They are messages. They are signals. They are reflections of stability, continuity, and the subtle power structures that exist behind the scenes. And when a senior royal like Princess Anne appears at major diplomatic dinners wearing 2 significant tiaras in less than 48 hours, the palace is communicating something. The question is what? Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. Princess Anne has always been known as the workhorse of the royal family, the duty-first royal, the no-nonsense figure who rarely allows emotion, politics, or spectacle to overshadow her obligations. And because of that, she has consistently been considered one of the most respected members of the monarchy. While others withdrew, stumbled, or battled scandal, Anne never stopped. State visits, diplomatic receptions, military ceremonies, charity events. Her calendar stayed full. So when she stepped out for the German state visit, it wasn't surprising that she was there. What was surprising is the level of attention she received. Because for the first time in a long time, the world wasn't just looking at her work. They were looking at her presence, her style, her symbolic role, and specifically at the tiaras she chose. The first evening, during the state banquet at Windsor Castle, Princess Anne attended wearing the Cartier aquamarine pine flower tiara. This tiara has become closely associated with her, making appearances at major state events throughout her life. It is elegant, distinctive, and deeply tied to the Windsor tradition of understated yet powerful jewelry choices. Its aquamarines stand out in the warm glow of a banquet hall, giving her an aura of composed regality. But what happened next is what captured the world's attention, because the very next night, for the Guildhall banquet hosted by the City of London for the German president, Princess Anne arrived wearing an entirely different tiara, the diamond festoon tiara. This sudden rotation, one tiara at Windsor, another at Guildhall, became a story on its own. It was not random, it was not an accident, and it was not casual. Royal watchers immediately recognized that wearing 2 different tiaras in 2 consecutive state events is unusual in the modern era. Not impossible, but certainly noteworthy. It speaks to intention. It speaks to the significance of the events. And it speaks to the growing importance of Princess Anne in representing the monarchy at a time when King Charles's reign is still navigating uncertainty, transition, and high public scrutiny. What we know for certain is that the diamond festoon tiara is one of Princess Anne's most cherished pieces. It was gifted to her in 1973 by the Worldwide Shipping Group, a gesture marking her public service and her growing role within the royal institution. She first wore it in a series of portraits for her 23rd birthday. She wore it again for her pre-wedding portraits before marrying Captain Mark Phillips. In recent years, she has only brought it out for significant occasions. The tiara is highly distinctive, cascading diamonds shaped in a delicate but commanding festoon design. It reflects Anne herself, traditional, resilient, and quietly authoritative. And so, when she stepped forward at the Guildhall banquet wearing that tiara, the symbolism became impossible to ignore. Here she was, the Princess Royal, standing before the German president, representing her brother, the king, radiating stability, tradition, and a kind of unshakable royal presence that few others in the modern monarchy can embody. Her husband, Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, stood by her as she greeted the guests. Photographers captured every angle. The tiara sparkling under the banquet lights, her embroidered jacket over a blue sequined gown, her sapphire and pearl choker sitting elegantly at her neck. The message was unmistakable. Anne was carrying the weight of the monarchy's diplomatic continuity on her shoulders. But what elevates this moment further is the context. The German state visit is one of the most important diplomatic events of the year. The relationship between Germany and the United Kingdom remains crucial, and King Charles himself referenced the historic trade and cultural ties between the nations during his speech at Windsor Castle. He even highlighted the significance of the Guildhall dinner, emphasizing the centuries-old connection between London and German merchants. And while the king spoke about these bonds, it was Princess Anne who embodied them the following evening, representing the crown with poise, strength, and unmistakable gravitas. But beyond the elegance of the jewelry and the ceremony, there is another layer to this story, one that speaks to the shifting dynamics within the royal family. Because at a time when the monarchy has been navigating illness, transitions, and the constant pressures of modern scrutiny, Princess Anne has become increasingly essential. Her presence at back-to-back state events sends a message that she is the anchor, the stabilizer, the royal who can be counted on to deliver dignity and continuity when the institution needs it most. And her choice of 2 tiaras in 2 days may reflect this renewed centrality. The aquamarine pine flower tiara, with its cool blue tones and longtime association with Anne, represented the ceremonial grandeur of the Windsor banquet. The diamond festoon tiara, with its deeper history and more formal aesthetic, underscored the diplomatic significance of the Guildhall dinner. These choices were not random. They were purposeful, and they reflect a royal who understands the symbolic weight of every appearance and every detail. It is also worth noting that Princess Anne does not maintain a massive tiara collection like some historical royal figures once did. She typically rotates between a handful of personally significant pieces. Her 4 most commonly worn tiaras form a distinct narrative of her life, her service, and her identity within the monarchy. So when she selects one for a major state event, it is almost always meaningful. And when she selects 2 different ones in 2 days, it becomes a moment worth analyzing. Rumors have circulated in certain corners of the royal watching community that this tiara rotation was part of a deliberate strategy coordinated with the palace to reassert a sense of royal grandeur after a year of challenges. It is necessary to state clearly that these claims are unverified. There is no official confirmation that her jewelry choices were instructed, coordinated, or strategically arranged. However, the speculation arises because the modern monarchy is acutely aware of public perception. Every appearance is calculated. Every gesture has meaning. And Princess Anne, more than anyone, understands the unspoken expectations placed on her at major diplomatic gatherings. Some have speculated, again unverified, that Princess Anne's increased visibility at state events is part of a broader effort to reinforce the monarchy's sense of continuity amid shifting circumstances. While King Charles remains active and committed, the demand for supporting senior royals remains significant. With fewer working royals now than in earlier decades, Princess Anne has naturally taken on a more prominent visible role. Her presence reassures. It roots the monarchy in history. It connects the modern royal family to the traditions of past generations. What is confirmed is that Princess Anne continues to be personally chosen by the king to represent the crown at high-level events.
Her diplomatic experience, her sense of protocol, and her resilience make her a dependable figure in moments that require precision and gravitas. And because of this, when she steps out wearing a major tiara, the symbolism extends far beyond fashion. At the Guildhall banquet, Princess Anne stood with confidence as she greeted the German president, Frank Walter Steinmeier, and his wife, Elke Butenbender. Her presence beside them, documented in photographs capturing her embroidered jacket and radiant tiara, reinforced the long-standing connection between the two nations. Her husband, Sir Tim Lawrence, watched with quiet support, reflecting the unity and stability that the Princess Royal brings to every royal engagement. But perhaps the most compelling aspect of this moment is the contrast it creates with other members of the royal family. While tabloids swirl with stories about Prince Andrew, speculation about Prince Harry, scrutiny about public appearances, and debate about roles and responsibilities, Princess Anne simply shows up. She does the work. She represents the crown with dignity. And she doesn't need a scandal to attract attention. Her consistency is powerful enough. This is why royal watchers reacted so strongly to her two-tiara appearance. It was not merely about diamonds, it was about symbolism. It was about a senior royal stepping into the light with purpose and precision, reminding the world that the monarchy still has figures capable of embodying its traditions with grace and strength. It also highlights something important about Princess Anne's character. She has always been pragmatic. She is known for her direct manner, her discipline, and her intense commitment to duty. She is not a royal who seeks spectacle. So when she embraces this level of glamour, it is done intentionally. It is done in service of her role, and it is done to honor the significance of the events she attends. This makes the contrast between the two tiaras particularly meaningful. The Cartier Aquamarine Pine Flower Tiara is light, airy, and subtly colorful, perfect for the grandeur of Windsor Castle. The Diamond Festoon Tiara, by contrast, is heavier, more formal, and symbolically tied to Anne's early years as a senior royal. It brings history into the present. It tells a story of continuity stretching across decades. And wearing it at the Guildhall banquet, a location tied to centuries of trade and diplomacy between Britain and Germany, was a powerful choice. And the photographs from the evening, Princess Anne appears composed and radiant. Her sequined gown glimmers beneath the embroidery of her jacket. Her tiara catches the banquet lights with every movement. Her pearl and sapphire choker add depth and refinement. Together, the ensemble communicates something quietly profound. The monarchy endures. Its traditions remain alive. And the Princess Royal, who has served through 5 decades of dramatic change, remains its steadfast representative. This is why the world noticed. This is why her two-tiara moment became a headline. Because in a time when every royal story is scrutinized, criticized, or sensationalized, Princess Anne delivered something rare. A moment of pure, dignified royal elegance. A reminder of what the monarchy is at its best. And as the German state visit continues to be discussed, analyzed, and remembered, Princess Anne's role within it stands out as a defining moment. 2 tiaras in 2 days, 2 events of international significance, 1 royal message delivered with clarity. Princess Anne remains the monarchy's backbone.